Hey folks, Joe from My Geek Scene here. I wanted to do a quick pause before we ventured into this interview that I did with Samus at MAGFest. Quick story, I flew out to MAGFest for the first time in Maryland, and it was an awesome time, and I just didn't bring my video equipment because I didn't know what to expect, and plus that's expensive. So, the interview that I did with Samus is pretty much an audio interview that I placed on YouTube. So, please, after you enjoy this awesome interview that I did with her, because she's really awesome, please go support her stuff. Check out the links that I included in the video, to the video description below, and just take it easy. All right, folks. Later. Hello, folks. This is Joe from My Geek Scene. I'm actually at MAGFest with Enongo Lumumba-Kasongo, or for those who follow her music path, she's known as Samus. Yay. Wonderful rapper, producer, and PhD student.
Hi.
Samus, how are you doing?
I'm fantastic. I'm doing really, really well, actually.
Samus, thank you so much for granting an interview with me for my very first MAGFest ever.
Oh, wow. Of course. I didn't realize it was your first MAGFest. Welcome.
It's been great. We're doing this interview after you had performed,
yes.
And actually, not on the list of questions, but I wanted to throw this out to you.
Yeah.
During Love Song, when you were coming out and shaking hands in
Yeah,
the crowd,
yeah.
my friend Paige was like close to me, and you shook her hand, and she just about started crying
Oh
because
my God.
this was her first MAGFest,
Wow.
and she was really looking forward to seeing you. And I know I'm not saying that to blow smoke.
Oh my God.
She was legit looking forward to seeing you, and like
Really?
she almost started crying
Oh
after
my
you just shook
God.
her hand. So
That's so beautiful.
I wanted to say at least thank you for doing that. Well, providing something so meaningful to my friend.
Of course.
So, Paige, that's a shout out to you when you eventually
Shout
listen.
outs to you, Paige.
So, all right. So, Samus is your moniker.
Yes.
Named after Samus Aran from Metroid. So, besides Metroid, what other games have had an impact on you?
So I guess I would approach that from the perspective of the music. So I fell in love with video games through the music, basically. It just like connected with me, resonated with me, and after I was done playing, I would hear the tunes in my head. So Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and 2 were both, I played those to death, and I love the soundtracks for both of them. Metal Gear Solid is one of my favorite games and one of my favorite soundtracks. Final Fantasy VII, one of my favorite games, one of my favorite soundtracks. I really like the video game Parasite Eve. I'm not sure how many folks out there might remember that one.
That was through Squaresoft back in the day.
Yeah, yeah.
And they made 3.
I believe so. I played the first and second. And I mean, to speak to some of the things that I'm interested in, like, I loved it because there was a woman, playable woman character. So I remember picking it up at the store and being like, oh, dope. I want to, like, try this out. I want to play with this lady. So, yeah, I would say those games. I love F-Zero. I love the soundtrack to F-Zero.
Okay.
Yeah, so a wide array of different games. Music has affected me.
Nice. Were there any video game characters? No, I already asked that. No. Yes, besides Samus Aran, were there any video game characters that had an impact on you?
Specific characters. I always loved Luigi. I always loved Luigi and always felt like his story wasn't told as a kid. Like, it bothered me. I've never liked like the main protagonist. I've always liked the sidekick or like the villain. So I don't know, like, even watching Looney Tunes, I remember I hated Bugs Bunny. I wanted to stab him. I loved Daffy Duck though. I hated Roadrunner. I loved Wile E. Coyote. So I think I just had this, this relationship with like villains or sidekicks or people who are perpetually like left out of the picture. I just they resonate with me. So I think Luigi in some way like spoke to me.
I've enjoyed his death stare meme that came up.
Yes. I was so happy to see him getting that shine.
My first exposure to you was on the Nocturnal Cantata with Mega Ran.
Shit. Yeah.
What are some of your favorite tracks from Symphony of the Night, since you love soundtracks?
Oh, wow. Oh, my God. Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention that.
Oh, no, that's why we can cover it here. One of my favorite tracks, 2 of my favorite tracks are Dance of Pails and Crystal Teardrops.
Yeah, I was going to say Dance of Pails. When I saw that on the sheet, I was like, that's probably the top. I also like the in the library, like the...
with the piano?
Yeah.
That very regal piano?
Yes, like that soundtrack is so spectacular. It's unreal. It's like next level. I used to just listen to the soundtrack, the OST all day, really.
I always have that on my MP3 player.
Yeah,
Every time like
absolutely.
I update to a new MP3 player, I pop that one over.
It's a must.
The only song that I really cut out is the last track. The Kenny G sounding one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like
you have all
a little
this stuff,
sexy for no reason.
and I'm like, this doesn't fit into me.
Like, what were y'all doing?
I
That's
even went
funny.
out on my way to track down the unreleased tracks.
Wow.
Because I don't know how much of a Castlevania fan you are, but that was the only game besides That was the only game to not include Vampire Killer.
Oh,
except for the Sega
wow.
Saturn version. So the unreleased tracks were actually off the Sega Saturn version. And like, I want to say Bloody Tears too. Like, I get super nerdy when it gets to music.
Well, good.
And I also
place.
enjoyed your instrumental album from that with
Thank
DJ
you.
Cutman.
Yeah, that was super cool. He agreed to remaster the tracks in like fun ways. So that was a nice way to put out some of my instrumental work and pay homage to those awesome game soundtracks.
Are you familiar with the upcoming Bloodstained Ritual of the Night game?
No,
which is
I just saw on the
the sheet that I showed you.
Your sheet, yeah, I just heard from you.
Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. So Koji Igarashi, one of the main people behind Symphony of the Night, was with Konami, and then they kept screwing him over. So he was like, I'm out,
right.
you know, so I'm going to go kickstart my own game. So Bloodstained Ritual of the Night is the spiritual successor to Symphony of the Night. So
oh my God.
It'll be for like all these systems and stuff. And he's also bringing back Michiru Yamane, who is the composer.
Absolutely. She's special.
He was like asking for $500,000, and at the time he ended up getting $5.5 million to kickstart this game.
Damn.
Yeah, it will have like 1,600 rooms. It's going to be the largest one. I kickstarted it. You could actually fight. You can fight Igarashi as a secret boss too. So there's so much.
That's brilliant. Wow, that's really cool. Well, thanks for the heads up.
I mean, from what I understand, you don't have the modern systems now because you've been focusing on Genesis. And
my little
Super
throwbacks.
Nintendo.
I'm working on it.
No, it's not bad. I'm not going to shame you for that. How dare you?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
How dare you not take time from your busy schedule with school and music to play the latest stuff, you know, when you need to conserve your money for other things.
Oh, yes. Unfortunately, I actually talk to Mega Ran about this sometimes, that it's like, dang, you work so hard and then you don't even have the time to like enjoy the fruits of your labor sometimes.
He's a cool cat. I've met him three times.
Yeah, he's fabulous.
I'm hoping to interview him down the road.
Yeah.
K Murdoch is going to work on him for me too.
Yeah, great. Yeah, he's the homie.
All right, so we're going to go a little bit into anime. I've read that you used to draw a lot of anime-inspired art and hope to create a cartoon or video game series. What anime series do you like? Because I know you've made a lot of references to DBZ in numerous songs.
Yes. So that kind of, I mean, I remember some of my fondest memories are coming home, you know, middle school and high school, and just watching Dragon Ball Z with my brothers. And, you know, there's such specific moments, like Scouters shattering. Like, I just thought that was, like, the coolest thing.
Over 9,000?
Yeah, lower 9,000. Oh, my God. We would be yelling all over the place. So, yeah, I love DBZ. I love the art style. I hadn't quite seen too much stuff like that, so I thought that was really interesting. And I loved Sailor Moon as a kid.
Oh, no.
Really spoke to me. Yeah.
I used to get up at, sorry to turn this on
super early, right?
I used to get up at 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah. Because that's the only time you can see it. That, Speed Racer, actually. I remember I actually had to stay up really late to watch Speed Racer back in the day. And then Cowboy Bebop. So good. So good.
So good.
That actually, can I curse on this? Or
yes, I don't curse, but I don't censor my guests.
Okay. Well, it really effed me up. I'll say that.
You could drop the F-bomb. It does not hurt my feelings.
Okay. I just want to be sure. I used to be an elementary school teacher, so I always like to ask and make sure.
It was in Houston?
Yeah, in Houston. Yeah. Oh, thank you for knowing that.
Do you still go, when you travel through, bonus question, when you travel through Houston, do you still hit up E-dub-a-licious cookies?
I should. The last time I was there, I went to actually this kind of church group through which I met E-dub-a-licious, but I haven't gone back. Those cookies were like so, I feel like I can't start, because if I go back on them, then I'll have a problem.
I think it's amazing how she's taken her business and blown up.
Blown up, really, yeah.
You know, and while I was doing research on you, I saw that, and then I started doing research on her,
wow.
so I could potentially bring that up. I hit so many wormholes when I do research.
Yeah, just diving deep.
Did you specifically choose Ronin Warriors to be featured in your Mayhem video?
I loved that like intro sequence is like one of the coolest intros to me of all time. It's just so badass, and like one of the things that I really gravitate towards is like a powerful team kind of dynamic. Like I used to love Ninja Turtles a whole bunch. Ooh. So I love seeing like how different components of a team work together, and that intro is like if me and my friends could like power up together, that's how I would want to do it. I would want it to be like that intro sequence.
Okay.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on Samurai Champloo? Because you mentioned Cowboy Bebop, which had Steve Bloom as both Spike Spiegel and Mugen.
Absolutely. Actually, I was just talking to this amazing woman earlier today about Samurai Champloo, about how cool it is, like the kind of melding of different universes, and like the music from the musical.
Nujabes.
Yeah, like that. I think, of course, I'm a musician, so once you got me, through your music, I'm in, like I'm sold. So I just love the infusion, the different elements of kind of, soulful vibes.
I would love to check out, may he rest in peace, but Nujabe's Modal Soul album.
Yeah.
Sorry to name drop, but K Murdoch had highly recommended that album.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, K Murdoch has the best recommendations.
Oh yeah, I mean he's a cool cat.
He is.
Are you watching anything now, anime-wise, like Dragon Ball Super?
I'm not. Like I was saying, I feel like I don't. Now that I'm in these cool spaces where I get to actually talk to folks about this, I don't have time. But I'll take any recommendations. I'll take any recommendations for the next time I have a for real vacation. So no, I'm not watching anything now, but I hope to have some time this year, like really take it easy and like sit back and enjoy some of the cool stuff that's happening right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on thematically, we're since we were talking about anime, which is animation, we're gonna go to cartoons.
Yeah.
So in games and cartoons, you made references to plenty of video games.
Mm-hmm.
On the cartoon side, what were some of your favorite cartoons while growing up?
Oh my God, Rocko's Modern Life. I love Rocko's Modern Life. It just felt like all the Nicktoons were really cute and great and fun. I like Rugrats a whole bunch. I thought it was a great reflection of what it is to be a kid, your kind of imagination, like the sense of possibility. But I love Rocko. Like I said, I love people who are sort of like perpetually just like run over and giving the run around. And poor Rocko.
He can't win.
He can't win. He can't win. His friends are nuts. Filbert is like this. I'm nauseous. You turn the page and wash your hands. Like I was like, who are these people? So it was such a wild universe for me as a kid. I, for whatever reason, connected very deeply with that. I loved Ninja Turtles. I loved Donatello specifically. He was my dude. I loved him. He wore purple. Purple was my favorite color. And he was smart and quote unquote, does machines. And so I was like, oh, I'm a little nerd. I value the super intelligent, nerdy guy who's, of the group. I really liked, I thought Ren and Stimpy was interesting. It was weird. It was kind of gross, but I liked it. And Aeon Flux, I remember.
Oh, yes, from MTV.
Yeah,
Liquid
from
Television.
MTV Liquid Television. I was like young, and my older brother was watching it, so it was. I remember I was like disturbed, but I also was like really into it. Like the animation style was kind of like was pretty wild. So yeah.
That show I found very disturbing, and like when it had
Super
its own
disturbing.
half-hour specials on MTV, I was like.
Yeah, like what is this?
I was like, man, I think it was Peter Chung was the main artist behind it. I was like, dude, I can't get behind your art style.
It was wild, yeah. And do you remember the Max?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, and my friend gave me that whole series on DVD.
That shit was crazy. I think there's some episode where like a rabbit dies or something, and it's like screaming. And I remember my mom being like, what is this? Like, what are you watching?
So, I guess speaking of MTV cartoons, did you used to watch The Head?
Yes. Oh, yeah, The Head. Oh, my God. Wow, that's a throwback. That show, that was weird. That was a weird show. It was cool, though. I like really connected with, what was her name? Was it Julie? He had like a, oh, my God. I want to go back and watch now.
Yeah, actually,
I might do that.
I recently looked it up on Amazon to see if like they had all of The Head, and I do believe they do.
The whole thing?
Yes.
Okay.
I used to watch a lot of like the cool animated stuff. Like you mentioned Liquid Television, that was pretty cool. Crazy Daisy Ed.
Yeah.
And my friend Tyson had recently posted a link that from, I guess, Internet Archives that someone has uploaded all of Liquid Television, like all of the series that you can just download.
I'm going to have to check that out. I have to go down the wormhole when I create time for myself, because otherwise I'll never come out and be like, yo, you just wasted a whole month, and Enongo, great job.
I take it you enjoyed the Super Mario Brothers Super Show too.
Oh my, I have it on a DVD actually.
I recall that from your bedhead sessions on Ithaca Underground. It showed up for a quick moment. It's like, I'm gonna write that down.
Oh yeah. Actually, when I was teaching in elementary school, I showed that to my students, and they were like, this is really old. And I was like so sad.
That show was dope back in the day.
It was so wild. It was such a strange premise. Like, we'll have live action mixed in with like these. It was so crazy. They were tripping.
I mean, like, just the merchandise with Super Mario back in the day, like Super Mario Brothers cereal.
Everything, yeah.
Like, and the Ghostbusters cereal with like the little hologram on the front of
oh my
Slimer.
God. They also had a Ninja Turtles cereal, which I loved that. I loved Ninja Turtles cereal.
All right.
Throwbacks.
So we're going to go into the next thing, Mighty Morphing.
Yes.
Obviously not being pigeonholed into one thing.
Right.
I can personally relate to Mighty Morphing because I'm half black myself, and like when I've people have said to me like, "You listen to that stuff?" Because I've asked them, like, because I'm a huge metalhead, but I love music in general.
Yeah.
But like when I've thrown it out to people, they're like, "You listen to that?" And I'm like, "Yes." I mean, like, is it supposed to be different?
Is a problem, right?
You know, am I supposed to be hitting the turntables?
Right. Oh my gosh, all of those boxes people like to put us in.
Well, I mean, from what I understand, you grew up listening to alternative rock. Did you feel conflicted in your choice of music due to perceived societal norms for black people?
Yeah. So I felt I was really blessed in that my older brother kind of carved a path for us in that way. Like, he, you know, I just wanted to be just like him as a kid. So he would bring home music, and whatever it was, I would listen to it too. So he gave me this sense of freedom that, like, I could listen to Nirvana, and then I could turn around and listen to like Daft Punk, and then I could turn around and listen to Bjork, and then I could turn around and listen to like, you know, Busta Rhymes, and it didn't matter. So
and it shouldn't matter.
And it shouldn't, right? Obviously, it shouldn't matter. So I think I was really lucky in, if I had grown up in a different environment, I feel like it could have gone awry. I do remember that kids would say weird stuff, you know, the stuff that I talk about in Mighty Morphing, where it's like, oh, you're so articulate, like, for, you know, the subtext me, like, for a black person, right?
You speak so well, and I bit her head off.
Right, like, you know? what are you getting at? Like, I know what you're getting at, but I want you to actually say it. So, you know, that stuff, or, oh, you know, I didn't know black people did this or were into this. And so, like, those very stupid, kind of ignorant comments. But as far as liking, you know, going to punk shows and stuff like that, I felt like, hey, you know, I can be here because my older brother is carving this path for me. He's in this band, and like, he's just opening up this space as a space that I feel comfortable being in.
So you used to go to DIY punk shows back in the day?
Yeah. My older brother, he had this band called Earl's Garage in high school, and like, we would go to the teen center. They would have shows there. They had shows at the bottom of this art gallery. It was super cool.
I used to hit up DIY punk shows like well over a decade ago. I was known as Black Metal Joe, not because I was black and I liked metal. It was because I used to make metal compilations that featured black metal on there. I don't know how familiar you are with black metal. Black metal, basically Scandinavia. There's a certain style from the Scandinavian countries. It was usually anti-human, anti-religion, anti-stuff like that. But I would make all these compilations of all these metal songs that would include some black metal bands. But my friends were like, yeah, you make sweet black metal band compilations. You're a Black Metal Joe. I'm like, that works. I'm black. I like metal. I'm black. I like black metal. And I like black metal. So I was like,
so many levels.
3. I did like in Mighty Morphin that you dropped a reference to Joy Division. Were you talking about unknown pleasures?
Yeah. Yes, I feel like that line, it's interesting. That line probably gets the most response. Like, you know, from the stage, I can see in people's faces they're like, oh, like they have this moment of like, what? You know, so I definitely wanted to make reference to that and to put that in context with like E40. You know, it's like the best, it's like the best kind of juxtaposition.
Fun question. If you could time travel, what band would you go see? Or
who
would you go see?
If I could time travel, holy moly. I think I would see, Let me think. I might go see Bob Marley and the Wailers.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool. I've just heard and read a lot about the like sonic experiences that he was able to create, and I would totally be into just like getting into a vibe and seeing this like prophet, you know, just do his thing. Yeah, that's a good question. That's hard as fuck though. In my mind, I'm like, oh, I want to see Nirvana. I'd want to see, like.
Fortunately, we have DVDs for like Nirvana, like Live at Reading.
Yeah.
Which was a pretty good DVD.
I remember MTV used to show concerts. MTV used to actually
Yes.
show concerts. So we would record them and watch them. I remember seeing Red Hot Chili Peppers, like a concert that man, I miss that. Just like shows.
Yeah, I mean, the band that I would go back in time to see would be the Smashing Pumpkins with the original lineup,
wow.
especially from like the Siamese Dream all the way to Melancholy and
Holy
Infinite
moly,
Sadness.
yeah. Oh, so beautiful.
Someone had uploaded a concert from 1993, like one of their shows at the Metro in Chicago where they used to play a lot, and
Yeah.
it was like almost 2 hours when they were playing from the Siamese Dream era. They had just released it, and you could see all the band members like still having fun before the music industry got to them.
Like destroyed their hearts and souls. That's
and
always
it's actually in like, not to make a reference to your song, it's like in 1080p, and it looks so crystal clear.
Wow.
It's amazing. Like,
that's pretty amazing.
if you were a fan of the Pumpkins, I would definitely recommend checking that out, especially the old Pumpkins.
For sure.
On to the next question about a band that you love.
Yeah.
Why is Digital Love one of your favorite Daft Punk songs?
Oh my God. Oh gosh. Well, I mean, I think Daft Punk they're such great chameleons. I love most of their music. But that song in particular, it's just so beautiful. It's just so beautiful. Like the journey, the emotional journey it kind of takes you on, I think it's so special. I feel like I'm blasting off. And so, of course, they have this, the series that goes along with it. But, I'm just smiling thinking about it. I used to listen to, like, it was one of the first projects that I listened to on repeat. And then I felt like was my own. Like, Daft Punk was a band that, like, I discovered. It wasn't anything that was handed to me from my older brother. It wasn't no outside influence. Like, I saw their music videos on MTV. I went to buy the first cassette. I bought their next project, so it was like they were my like first love for me, and so that song just brings me back to this beautiful moment in high school and the feeling of like letting loose and like falling in love.
I'm glad that you said that. You connected with that band on an emotional level. Those are the bands that mean the most to me. Is like bands that I can connect with on an emotional level.
Yeah.
Like, once again, old Smashing Pumpkins,
Yeah.
9 Inch Nails, like the Downward Spiral.
Wow,
like
Downward Spiral.
That album hit me so hard when I was like in high school. Like I could relate to it so much. Now I'm nowhere near as miserable. It's like the awkward teenage phase.
Yeah.
But obviously, since you mentioned that, what are some bands that you connect with on musical journeys?
Well, I mentioned it's not a band, but Bjork.
Yes.
She's a genius. She's a genius, and she was one of the first, I remember, artists who made me feel like, oh, you can do whatever the fuck you want. Like, you don't, there are no guidelines. Like, she would put out a song that sounded like, show tunes or whatever. Oh So Quiet, like this looks like this musical.
The video where everyone's dancing?
Everyone's dancing, and then she'll put out another song that's like, has electronic elements and, orchestras. And so you can't pin her down, and that aspect of her music is so exciting to me. And I didn't even understand as a kid what I was seeing or hearing, but I knew that I loved the freedom that it represented. So Bjork is at the top of my list, definitely.
Like her video Human Behavior?
Oh my God, yeah. It's like the thought that goes into every aspect of her music that I think also speaks to me. Like, she doesn't just put anything out to put something out. Every music video pushes. Every song pushes. She's always moving things forward. Yeah.
All right. Well, on the musical journey level, do the two bands Electric Golem and Sunspells, do they come into play?
Yeah, that's so funny. So,
I know that you interviewed Sunspells.
Yeah, so Sunspells, they were a group mostly comprised, I think 3/4 comprised of folks from my department. And Electric Golem is a duo comprised of my advisor and another artist performer in the upstate New York in Ithaca. And yeah, they're both like, I again have fond memories because when I was just starting to dip my toe into the Ithaca music scene, like they were already doing their thing, and it encouraged me that like, oh, people in my department are out here doing shows. Like, it's not that nuts for me to be trying to juggle, a couple of different interests. Yeah. So, Sunspells.
Well, I did. I mean, well, thanks to you. When I was doing research on you, I checked out both of those bands.
Oh, good.
And it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Checking out. I think I checked out the live album from Sunspells.
Oh,
it was like 4 tracks, and one track was like close to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is pretty cool.
They were super. I remember we had this event where it was like an experimental thing called Naked Noise, and basically, you just create noise for like an hour, and I felt like I left like reverberating. Like it was just such a magical experience. So yeah.
Have you ever seen Sunn?
No, I haven't seen Sunn.
Are you familiar with Sunn?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was able to see Sunn once.
Yeah.
I made a pilgrimage from Grand Rapids
it was
to
magical,
Detroit.
huh?
I felt the bass rumbling up to mid-chest level.
Yeah,
and the only reason
yeah.
why I only felt it up to mid-chest level was because 3 people were standing in front of me.
Wow.
Otherwise, it would just been full
Your
on.
whole essence. Yeah, that's always a super cool feeling.
I mean, I really got into drone, like bands like
yeah.
Boris.
Okay.
And, Boris is all over the place. This is awesome band from Japan.
Okay.
Like, none of their albums, the previous album is the same as the one that followed it.
Oh, I love that, yeah.
They hit so many cool things, and it's just amazing. Like, and their guitarist Wada, she is amazing.
Sick, huh?
Oh my god, it's like whether it just like hits you with just some crushing riffs that you have to
Okay.
bang your head to, and it's like she is amazing.
I'm gonna check them out, Boris. Okay.
I would recommend the Smile album by
Smile.
Boris.
Okay, Boris, Smile.
Yes, I can even tweet it out to you.
Cool. Yeah, please do.
I also wanted to throw out another band while we're still sticking on music. Is are you familiar with this band called Ostinato?
Ostinato, no.
They only made 3 albums, and I feel like their albums take me on a musical journey.
Okay.
I would highly, highly recommend them.
Cool.
I could also tweet that out to you.
Yeah,
like
please,
they're
Ostinato.
Chasing the Form or Left Too Far Behind. Both awesome albums.
Cool.
It's post-rock.
Okay, cool.
So it's ethereal and dreamlike depending on like the songs
Nice.
and stuff.
I'm here for that.
Most excellent.
Cool. Yeah, I'll listen to anything. I'll listen to everything.
No, I certainly wasn't going to send you black metal or any death metal anytime soon.
Sure. Hey, send it my way. Send it my way.
Well, there actually is a black metal band with a black man fronting it called Hook and Ardor, and
Okay.
that was made as a joke band from 4chan.
Oh, wow.
Like these people were being very disrespectful, and they were like, "We'll make an album with black metal and slave chants."
Oh,
so
wow.
this gentleman had actually made this actually good sounding album.
Wow.
Featuring Negro spirituals and black metal.
Wow, that's pretty crazy. There's an artist based out of Philadelphia named More Mother, and she's really cool. She's like a combination of hip hop, noise, punk, and she uses these kind of like analog or like field recordings to like create these experiences where you feel like you're traveling through time.
That's amazing.
Yeah, she's really brilliant. More Mother, Moor Mother. Yeah.
Okay. You've competed in beat battles. Is there a
Yes.
method to which song you choose to start off with? Because I've watched a few of your competitions.
Yeah. It depends on like who's judging. If I have a sense of like what angle the judges are thinking of, I'll try to like, I have some variation in the beats. So, like there's some real like head smackers, like neck, like, okay, I know this is like anyone who like came up listening to hip hop and like, the 90s is gonna like be like, yes, I hear that, or have some more boom bappy stuff. And so it's like reading. I hope that I never have to go first in a beat battle, so I can like read what the judges' faces are saying based on what the other person does. But I try to have my most intricate beats like spread out, like I'll play something really intricate and then I'll play something like dancey just to show range, just to be like, I can do this, but I can also make some like party fun music, but I can also slow it down, or yeah.
So that was the same approach that you used when Black Milk was one of the judges.
Oh
and
my
you
God.
got the only 5 out of 5 out of the night.
Crazy. Yes, that was the beat I had been sitting on for a long time. So I was like, if I'm gonna get eliminated, at least let me show the thing that I feel the best about.
Did you talk to him after that?
I did. I like shook his hand, and that was all I could really. I was just like, "Thank you." And
I
then
thought, man,
like,
I thought you meant like connecting with him, like like networking and stuff like that.
Oh no, I'm so bad about that kind of thing. Like even at the end of my set tonight, I forgot to be like, "Oh yeah, you can catch me." I realized as I'm like packing up, like, you know what? I didn't tell anyone anything. I didn't say when I was gonna be signing. I didn't. Luckily, people came through, but
they were waiting for you. Like,
that was so
I'm gonna give myself an autograph from Samus.
That was beautiful, but I really was like, "Oh, you fucked up that one bad, Samus."
Will you release another instrumental project like the Reset album?
I would love to do that. Yeah.
I know you include instrumentals like on some of the Bandcamp releases, but like just straight
instrumentals. I really want to do that again. And actually, I've been working over the past year on a couple of instrumentals of Metroid songs. I really want to do an instrumental, like a beat tape with F-Zero tracks. If I can just sit my ass down and do it. I love the music from F-Zero. But I would love to make a beat tape. Like producing beats is my first musical love, like the first thing that I felt good at, and rapping came later. So I think it would be a good exercise for me just to do that again.
Can you talk about your visit to the Congo for a music workshop with Pierce Freelon?
Yeah.
Is it Freelon?
Yeah.
Yes, I pronounced things correctly.
So I'm doing research on the politics of studio spaces that are in like low-income areas, and kind of how folks navigate, how audio engineers and how studio goers and artists navigate dynamics around power, like, who gets to determine what counts as a quality song or those kinds of things. So I found this amazing festival that was taking place in Goma in the Congo. And, through my interviewing of Pierce, through another studio that he was putting together, he eventually was like, "Oh, do you want to have this opportunity to go to the Congo? I'm going to be like doing a workshop, and you can come check out the studio there." So I was able to finagle that and was able to go there for like two and a half weeks, I believe, or maybe 2 weeks. And I ended up being like thrown into teaching like a beat making workshop, and I was super stressed out, but everybody was really kind and wonderful, and I did like a set. I did like a song for this audience of like thousands.
Yeah, that was in your cubicle video.
Yes.
And they looked like they were really reacting to that rather well.
That was one of the most incredible, it was like an out-of-body experience. So my dad's from the Congo. That was my first time being in the Congo ever. And, I remember the moment before rapping, I was like, I don't speak French very well. My songs are in English. I don't know how we're going to connect. And then as soon as I had the energy, it just reminded me of the power of music, that like it doesn't actually matter. If you're giving yourself, your whole self to something, people can feel that whether they understand what you're talking about or not.
Well, when I was watching that, I decided to start looking down the Artvism. Is it Artvism?
Oh, yeah, Artivism, yeah.
Artivism, thank you. You got any word on the missing second part of Nguvu Ya Weusi
I don't.
video?
I
Because
wish.
they just uploaded the first one, and I was like, part 1 of 2, and I'm like,
I know.
When's the next one coming out?
I wish. I should send an email. I still, I can chop it up with them, so I can send them an email and be like, "Hey, y'all, folks are waiting. Get it together." So I don't actually know, but I
thought you might have had some connections. Like
I wish.
Pierce,
Yeah.
Can we
send them
put
like
this
a little,
out?
right?
I would just like to see the second part. Like, you don't put like part 1 of 2. If you would have just said,
just put it up, right? Just put it up. Nobody would have known.
yeah, if you would have just said the basically was it Swahili or translated to Black
so.
Power?
Yes.
If you'd have just put the Black Power video,
Yeah.
that would have been fine. But when
But
you
you
put
had to
part 1 of 2,
tease with that, folks are gonna be like, okay. I'll let them know. Like, hey, get it together.
well, when I got to check out your first set on Saturday night, you were part of the NPC Collective, the
yeah.
Nerdy People of Color Collective. How did you get involved, and how has that impacted you?
Yeah, so Raheem Jarbo, a.k.a. Mega Ran, it was kind of his brainchild. He basically...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
was trying to do some research into that. I couldn't figure out who was the one who created that.
That's totally him. He, I think increasingly he was seeing us, and by us I mean like, artists of color specifically kind of doing nerdcore, but also... people in other spaces, brown folks who were taking up more space at like conventions. Like we were, making our entry into PAX. We were making our entry, like officially performing there. And like he didn't really have a template when he started, kind of working in these like geek nerd spaces as an artist. And so I think he wanted to pull together other artists who are doing that same thing and see if we could figure out, like, build a roadmap or use our collective power to, like, signal boost what it is each person is trying to do individually. So it's been a really neat experience for me, like, just connecting with other, you know, brown artists who are doing cool things, and having the opportunity to use my platform to share and big up the stuff that other folks are doing. I think it's a nice exercise in, like, what collective kind of action can look like.
I think that's actually pretty cool. I mean, and I'm not downplaying Michigan where I'm from, but it seems like when I'm in the Detroit area, I see more of a gathering of black folks who come out to the geek conventions that I always travel to, because I'm a geek journalist that travels all over the state of Michigan. And it's just, I'm certainly not accusing of conventions of whitewashing everything, certainly not. But I certainly am happy to see that people from different backgrounds coming out, whether they're people of color, but just all of them coming out and just having fun and stuff like that. And I'm like,
it's meaningful.
Like when I was growing up, because I'm 36, I'm old.
Oh, nah. You ain't old.
Like, listen, time crisis. Okay.
You ain't old. No.
But it's just like when I was growing up, like it was very rare to run into people that were into the same, especially people of color that were into the same things that I was into. I mean, that harkens back to, like, the issues I've had with, like, growing up with different music. Not only, like, where I say, like, white folks, white folks would give me a hard time over it. And I say a hard time, but just give me questioning glances. Like, I would get the same thing from black folks.
Trying to figure out, like, where do you fit? Like, what's your deal?
Same thing with black folks. Like, hey, you know, why are you checking out that stuff? Like, who reads comic books and stuff like that?
Absolutely,
and I'm like,
it comes from all different directions, unfortunately.
It's like, look, I'm a Half-African. I can do whatever I want.
I can move anywhere I want to move.
Even if it, I mean, like, I've told people, it's like, I didn't know that skin color dictates what a person does. You know?
Yeah. No, that's an important thing to recall. And I remember, so I have a track called Backstabbers about the ways in which even our own folks sometimes can cause harm to us. You know, that like the people that we feel like we should be able to trust the most, the people that we feel like, oh, you know what it's like to be ostracized or marginalized, and then they'll turn right back around and say, you know, oh, you can't do that. And it's like, wait, you're policing my actions, but you know what it's like to have your actions policed. You know what it's like to be told you can't do this, you can't like that. So, you know, sometimes people inflict the same pain that's been inflicted on them onto others. It's hard. But
I always just kept focusing on myself. It's like, look, I'm gonna like what I like.
Absolutely.
I've never been one to really care about what other people thought about the things that I like. All right, well, we were talking about, like, representation.
Yeah.
Now, with a little bit of an opposite direction, Perfect Dark is about the lack of black female representation, like in, would you say, the geek medium, like comics?
Yeah.
Animation,
games world.
I really wouldn't expect so much with anime due to, you know, the cultural differences.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and I think that's always complicated because it's like there are particular aspects of being black in America, right, that are specific to what this experience entails. So, I have an understanding that I'm not going to be everywhere. But I do think that, you know, we definitely exist in greater capacity than is reflected in the media that we consume, you know?
Man, we still have a long way to go, but things seem to be slowly going in a better direction.
Absolutely.
Are you familiar with Riri Williams from the Invincible Ironman
and
Or Dee, the Atheist Human Cleric from Rat Queens?
Yeah. No, I feel really great about, and actually someone who was at the show today introduced me a while ago to this game called Slime Rancher, and the main character of that game is a black woman. So, you know, I feel like there's areas where it's growing. There's more of us. I can spot brown faces and I can smile and be like, yes, some little girl is going to be like, hey, it's me, or I could do that. Or, you know, even just the different folks that I see cosplaying in these environments. Like, I love seeing black girls, like, become anyone. Like, you know, I took on the moniker of Samus. Like, just repurposing shit is, like, super fun and interesting to me. So, yeah, I think the landscape is changing, and I'm excited to see where we are in, like, 10 years, you know?
Since we're on representation, what did you think of the Marvel Netflix series, Luke Cage?
So I appreciate it for what it is. It wasn't super my shit.
Fair
like
enough.
I it's one of those things where it's like this should exist, but I didn't get super into it. Like I don't know how to describe it. Like I love that it's here, and I appreciate the space that it's taking up, but I didn't like emotionally connect with it in the way I think I was supposed to. So I probably need to go back and check it out. But yeah, I enjoyed it, but it just wasn't 100% speaking to me.
What about the upcoming Black Panther movie?
Oh, I'm ready for that. I am so ready for that.
I felt that he stole the show in Civil War.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
And what are your thoughts on the Boondocks?
The Boondocks is complicated. Actually, I remember reading the comic as a kid, and
By Aaron McGruder.
Yeah. I used to like get the real for real like comics. Yeah.
I was like, how is he getting away with some of these things?
That wasn't that wild. Like, I was young reading that stuff, and I remember I loved Calvin and Hobbes was also like
Bill
my
Watterson.
shit. Yeah. Oh my God, Calvin and Hobbes to this day, and it's amazing that it still, as an adult, going back and reading those comics is amazing. But yeah, the Boondocks, I think. It really influenced a generation of kids, I think, of little black kids to be like, oh yeah, I can say some shit, or I can like question authority. So yeah, all love to the Boondocks, and the cartoon was cool to see us taking up space on like Adult Swim, you know, and that takeover has been, I think it's been a part of Adult Swim, from the music to the whole kind of ethos. So
I mean, because in your song Mae Jemison, you made a reference to a pimp named Slipback.
Oh yeah, of course.
So since I mentioned Mae Jemison,
yeah,
what was her reaction to your song about her when you performed it for her?
that was trippy. That was some meta ass shit. Like performing a song about this woman to this woman. She was taken aback, and then I started crying, and she had this. She gasped. She was really shocked. Like, oh my God, I've melted this woman into tears. She was really sweet about it, and I'm so appreciative that I had the opportunity to meet my real life hero. Yeah.
That is awesome. I mean,
So
there's
cool.
only been a few people that I've been starstruck over meeting, and one of
Yeah.
them was Steve Bloom.
Okay, yeah.
And I was fortunate to interview him, and like,
Wow.
after I got over being initially nervous,
Yeah.
I was able to, in my opinion, knock out a very good interview with him. I mean, we
Good.
did terrible Harvey Firestein impressions
Good
midway
job.
through.
Good job.
I can say that I'm probably the only person that's ever done that with him during an interview.
Congratulations.
Well, we're going to go on to the next subject as we're winding this down.
Sure.
From what I understand, you've always wanted to create memorable music videos.
Yeah.
Like 1080p power-ups in games and cartoons
Yeah.
were rather straightforward in their visual storytelling.
Yeah.
But what's the story behind Time Crisis, the video? Because when I was watching
Yeah.
it, by the way, that beat to it, like the beginning, like just
Yeah.
was just powerful.
Oh, I love it. That I want that gritty sort of like, oh yeah, we're gonna turn up.
It's like a knock you on your ass. Oh, I'm sorry I cursed a little bit, but it's
a little
like,
bit. I'm not mad. You know I'm not mad at that.
oh, you're totally mad at that. Like, I can't believe I'm doing this interview with him. Total lack of unprofessionalism.
Yes, completely.
Lack of
I'm
unprofessionalism?
the most professional.
But what was this story on that video in particular? Because when I was watching it, there was like, it seemed like there was collages.
Yes.
And you ladies in the background just hanging out on the
just
porch
hanging
and
out,
stuff.
having fun. So that video was directed by two women who actually graduated from Cornell, and they reached out to me and they emailed me a while ago, and they were like, hey, we want to do music videos. We want to do weird, interesting music videos. Would you be down to do one? So the first video we did was for a track called The Feels, and that was kind of a trippy video. And then yeah, exactly. Ooh, I got the feels. And I was like, okay, I like y'all. I like you. You do weird shit. Like at this point, I just want to make stuff that's weird, that looks weird, that feels weird. And especially with music videos, which I feel like is like this art form that's underappreciated, undervalued. So they reached out to me. They were like, let's try this concept of you kind of having fun, but then like we'll juxtapose that with like a kind of seriousness, you know, because the song is like, I'm having fun, I'm living my life, but also do not fuck with me. You know, so I think that the video plays with that, and the kind of interesting collages in motion. It's like plays on time, like almost that it's like fleeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Two more music videos I want to touch upon.
Sure.
Let's talk about your appearance on Open Mike Eagle's hymnal video.
Hell yeah.
And on Stranger with Seeming.
Yeah.
Did I pronounce his name? I mean, his moniker right? Seeming?
Yeah, Seeming. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So you just want me to talk about those experiences of
Sure.
working with them? Yeah, so Open Mike Eagle, I actually met him when I first met Mega Ran. Yeah, at the same time. They were on tour together. And it really was some cosmic shit because Mega Ran sent me an email. I had just put out my first album. It, like, charted on Bandcamp. It was, like, a bestseller randomly, too. I hadn't even done, I think, what most artists do in terms of promotion these days. I was just, like, tweeted, like, hey, I have an album. Listen to it, I guess. And so he emailed me and was like, yo, I think we might be the same person. Like, you're a teacher turned rapper who also took a moniker from a video game character with an arm cannon and changed one letter and raps about geek shit, but then also talks about life and blackness and whatever. And he was like, yo, we should totally work together or, like, you know, find a way to meet up. And as it turned out, he just happened to be on tour with Open Mike Eagle, coming through Ithaca, of all places, like where I was. So I was like, yo, can I open for you guys when you come here? They came, I opened for them. It was like, you know, little cute summer show. But through that show, I connected with Open Mike Eagle and Mega Ran. And so I eventually asked Open Mike Eagle to do a song with me. So he did on my second album. And then he gave me another verse for my fifth album. And then he asked me to do a verse for this most recent project, for this track, Hymnal. And that was one of the most fun pieces, one of the most fun features I've ever written. Because for me, it's just like an exercise in wordplay. Like, how many words can I rhyme with this? How many words can I use this rhyme scheme to, like, play with? And Mike Eagle was down.
Like the Reverend and his wife.
Yeah, exactly.
At least that's what I got the vibe from watching that video.
Absolutely.
What about Stranger with Seeming?
And with that was interesting. He reached out to me and said, like, I have this song and there's, like, a singing part and would you be down to do it? And, you know, I do not consider myself to be a vocalist. Like, I'll sing when I have to or if I have to or, you know, just whenever. But so it was interesting having somebody reach out and, like, tell me, hey, I want you to sing on this track. And it was something I'd never done before. It was a different kind of music. So I was like, sure, why not? And it came out really beautifully. I liked pushing myself to try something new.
It was an interesting video, especially like when you two were standing there and like images were being projected onto you.
Yeah, that was super beautiful and fun to shoot and different, very different.
Well, since we're still on the visual subject, I know for a fact that you enjoy awesomely bad movies. Like, I wouldn't say Mortal Kombat's one, but you definitely enjoy Street Fighter, the movie.
Oh my God. Favorite. It is so ridiculous.
Quick, change the channel.
Quick. Oh my God. I was just telling someone about M. Bison's speech where he's talking to Chun-Li and he's like, for you, it was a Tuesday. Or for me, it was a Tuesday. I forget why I brought that up in that context of that conversation, but I always have like Street Fighter, the movie references like on deck.
What other bad movies do you enjoy?
The Mario movie, I think is pretty, it is. It's so horrendous that it just makes me smile. It's really, really bad. It's really bad. Oh, God, why am I blanking? I love bad movies. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie For Good Burger.
I have seen Was it Good Burger?
Yeah, Welcome to Good
Welcome
Burger.
to Good Burger.
So I like love that movie. It's
Can I take your order?
Can I take your order? Yeah, Keenan and Kel. I love them. So I love that movie. It's like it's such a dumb movie, but I love it. And I'm sure I'll think of like 55,000 more. Have you ever seen The Wicker Man? Nicolas Cage?
I've not seen it, but not the bees. I mean, I'm familiar with the clips, and I'm like, this is so random.
So ridiculous. He like drop kicks this lady in a bear suit. It's like so.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So yeah, send me a bad movie and I will be your friend forever.
Oh, we're gonna talk a little bit more about that, but I could definitely have some recommendations.
God.
Have you seen? And I just found out about this. This Chinese movie called Future Cops.
No.
Which is supposed to be the Chinese version, the unlicensed Chinese version of Street Fighter.
Stop! Oh my God, I need this in my life.
It's
unlicensed.
It's a comedy parody of Street Fighter. So apparently, in the plot is M. Bison had took over the world.
Yeah.
So these cops go back in time to try stopping him.
Oh, this is already sounds like some bullshit. I'm so
Ryu's
excited.
a cop, Chun-Li, Vega, but like they don't have
like together?
Like all of them together, but like they can't go by those names. But
Right,
you
'cause
can
it's
guess.
unlicensed.
But you can guess who they are by like their actions and stuff. And it's just so ridiculous.
Oh my god!
Like I found it on YouTube, and I was like, I have to sit down and watch all this. I have not.
I can't wait. That sounds really good. It's reminding me, there's a movie I got on DVD called like Kung Fu Zombie a while ago.
Okay.
It's horrendous and amazing. So yeah, I'm excited to check this out. Future Cops?
Yes,
Cool.
I can send you a
Please
link
send
too.
it my way. I will waste a whole good evening on that.
Oh, yeah, man. Do you go into B movie territory like Ricky O, Machine Gun, or Hard Ticket to Hawaii?
I haven't dabbled in the B movie territory, mostly because I'm scared that I'll like enjoy it too much and never leave.
Oh, come on now. I promise I'm not trying to.
Look at
I'm
you.
not
You're
trying to shame you.
You're
but
gonna
it's like-
destroy my whole life with this stuff.
No, I mean, B movies are great. I mean, like we're sitting out waiting. I mean, looking at this long line for people to get in to go see The Room, which with Tommy Wiseau is one of the worst movies of all time.
I totally forgot. Yeah, The Room. Duh. That's like the top of the list.
Ricky O is a gory, and I'm doing this with quotation marks, kung fu movie.
Yeah.
Because like his fist goes through people and stuff like that.
Sounds so good.
Oh, it's great.
I'm
like,
here for that.
I would highly recommend it.
Yep.
Machine Girl is a Japanese high school girl on a quest for revenge against Yakuza ninja.
Of course.
Who killed her brother, and they chopped off her arm. So she ended up getting like a machine gun arm, like Barrett.
Oh my god! What? Okay, yeah. That actually legit sounds like some shit that I would be into.
There's a few movies like when I see the trailer for it, I'm like, I don't care what I have to do. I'm gonna buy this.
Absolutely.
I don't care. That's
Figure
how
it
I
out
was.
afterwards.
I was with Machine Girl, and that's how I was with Black Dynamite. When that,
yeah, Black Dynamite. That's it.
I told you not to interrupt me when I'm doing my kung
when
fu.
grown folks is that movie is probably top 5 for me. It is so funny. It's so good. The writing, the cinematography, like. It's just a blessed movie.
I like the fact that fiendish Dr. Wu was only running the drug lab because they threatened to cut his benefits. That was the only reason why.
Exactly. Oh, it's so bad. And the like chicken and waffles theme that's running throughout. I was like, this is so ridiculous. Thank you. Yeah.
And Hard Ticket to Hawaii, the last one on that, was made by this guy named Andy Sedaris. And it's basically these two. I don't know, for some reason, like, one of them was in, what's that when you go, Hidden Protection or something like that?
Okay, Witness Protection?
Witness Protection.
Yeah.
So they made her like a wildlife ranger on an island, like / drug enforcer, drug ranger.
Okay.
And like the whole point of it's like it has pointless nudity just thrown at random times.
Just cause, yeah, of course.
Over the top action, like you can't take this seriously. Have you ever seen that movie of that guy skateboarding with the blow up doll, like on his shooting at these guys in the Jeep, and they back up into him and he goes flying in the air and the guy takes out the rocket launcher, blows him up, and then as the blow up doll is slowly falling down, he aims the rocket launcher at that.
Yo.
I cannot make this up.
This sounds so good. This is reminding me of I went to see what is the most recent Fast and Furious just to like laugh my ass off, and I did. There's like a rocket launcher, like this. It's just so.
Yeah, the guy uses a rocket launcher because he can't hit anybody with anything else.
Right, of course.
And it has what I call the original, a subplot, what I call the original snakes on a plane, because for some reason there was a mutated snake just traveling through the island, terrorizing people.
Of course, yeah.
And those 3 movies, I would highly recommend. I can easily send you links to all of those.
Send them my way.
I'm sorry for sending you down that wormhole.
I know. Thanks a lot. I'm going to have to tweet later like, wow, where did my life go?
But I hope that you enjoy them.
I will. I already know, just based on the premise.
So we're going to the final run of this wonderful interview, and thank you so much for granting this.
Of course. Wow. MAGFest that night.
Yes. All right, let's talk about your Zero Suits podcast situation with your now fiance, Lanre.
Holy
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I said the same thing to him too.
Aww.
Well, because
so sweet.
before we started an interview, I pulled him aside. And I was like, I appreciate your podcast. And I think it's awesome that you're an author of young adult Blacktop.
Yes. Oh, he's so like shy. This is not his world, so it's always amazing to him when anybody
of the
knows.
George Saunders Club.
Obsessed.
President.
Sorry. Right. He keeps shifting between president, vice president. Like, doesn't want to creep the guy out. I'm like, I'm sure he doesn't care.
Well, let's talk about your podcast.
Yeah. So that kind of originated, I wanted to do something on Patreon. I wanted to like try something new. So I was like, what's something I can deliver once a month that I know is going to be good? And, you know, I think the obvious direction for me probably would have been like making music, making a song, you know, every couple of weeks. But I felt like I don't want to do it in that model. If I make a song, music, I want to put it in an album. You know, I want it to have a home. And so a podcast seemed like a cool thing to do. I've listened to a lot of great podcasts. I'm excited to start checking your stuff out. And felt like, okay, this is a way that I can share. It felt like increasingly folks were interested in, like, how did you do these things? Like, how do you get from point A to point B? How do you start a song? How do you start a book? And
that was what really resonated with me, was the deconstructions of your individual projects.
Right,
because I love the commentary. Like, granted, yes, the songs are awesome, but I'm more interested, and I'm sorry for interrupting you.
No, you're
I'm
fine.
more interested in, like, how things are being put together.
Right.
Like, what were your thoughts
what is
going
the
into that
thinking
process?
behind it, right.
That's really appealing to me.
Oh, cool. Well,
Like,
that's good to hear.
Especially, like, the stories behind tattoos. I think tattoos are awesome.
Yeah.
But what's the story of how you were influenced enough to have that image imprinted on your skin permanently?
Thing. Yeah, exactly. So, and that's one of the things that Lanre's helped me to learn, is how interesting and how helpful it can be for someone just to be like, oh, I made this artistic decision because, and whoever is struggling with or thinking about their own work can incorporate that into, you know, whatever they're working on. So yeah, it's been a nice experience in terms of exploring what it means to be an artist, and hopefully sharing something interesting and or useful to people.
Because of your breakdown of Kanye West, I found out about the band Coop. And
And
it blew my mind that it's, a duo that just puts all this stuff together?
Crazy. Coop is so good. I interned at Atlantic, and that's how I found them. And that was like the only good thing to come out of that internship, was these amazing records from Coop, yeah.
I mean, because I had listened to quite a bunch of their songs that were on YouTube while I was playing Breath of the Wild. But that,
of course.
That's neither here nor there. I was like,
that's beautiful. Oh, wow.
Like,
nice combo.
I have to do this for research purposes because it helps me talk about the stuff with people, too. So.
Oh, that's nice.
I also would like to say that I've enjoyed the affirmations that you give at the end of that, too.
Oh, really? That's so nice to hear. Yeah, this is really great, actually, because we don't usually get this kind of like direct feedback through a conversation. So that's really, really nice to hear. And
I've listened to all 4 episodes. I take it that episode 5 is coming out in January.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's that part of it. That was me. I said, like, we need to have an affirmation, because I get, you know, any artist, any person, any creative person, anyone who's taking on a project needs to hear sometimes, like, yo, I'm the shit. I'm cool. I got this. Like, I deserve to be here. So we wanted to give people an opportunity to recite that and feel that way about themselves, their own work. Yeah.
That's how I feel about, like, my approach to doing interviews.
Yeah.
Like, I feel that I'm certainly not saying I'm better than people. I just try to go a different route than most people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, like, if I'm given that opportunity, I try my best to knock it out of the park to prove that, hey, yes, I can give you a good interview if you give me the time to do it.
Yeah.
And I struggled with that a little bit, because I felt like, no, you got to keep it humble. You got to keep it humble, because me personally, I don't like overly cocky people.
Yeah.
Yes, have confidence in yourself, but if you're
There's a line.
like if you're like, I'm the best all the time, and like that's a huge
like,
turnoff for me. So like whenever people are comparing me to other interviewers in the Michigan scene, I'm like, no, I just do things differently.
Right, I'm doing my way. I'm living my life.
I'm certainly not better than them, but I also feel that depending on who's doing the interview, I put in way more effort than they do too.
And big up yourself. You know, if you're putting in that time, like.
It took me close to 2 years to, you know, start having confidence in my ability.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, I mean, like my earlier interviews, I was like awkward when talking to them, but then when I got relaxed, when I removed the stick from my ass, it was a lot better.
That's good, and it does take time, even in my own artistic journey.
And where can people find your podcast?
So they can find it at, I made a little new website. It's zero-suits.com. So you can find it there. You can find out ways to contribute to the Patreon or whatever. The episodes are all free, and then there's bonus episodes, so you can listen at whatever level you like. And give us your feedback. This is really nice to hear feedback from someone.
Yeah, no problem.
Cool.
So since we're still a little bit on the subject of Lanre,
sure.
Are there any stories or pieces that he's created that has resonated with you, and why?
Wow, any stories or pieces? So he wrote this story called Boomerang that was published in the Kenyan Review, which I've since learned is like a cool literary journal. It's about this man, and he's kind of sad and looking back at his life and looking at his son. And yeah, it's inspiring to see him create something like that. Like it's so different from who he is as a person. So it's fascinating because so much of myself is in my music. So it's cool to see somebody create a project where they're able to create a distance or like invent new worlds and new characters. Yeah. So that's something I might, even in my concept album, it's still like, it's me. So it might be cool to try on a different hat and like totally, you know, go full Daft Punk and like put on a mask and just be someone completely different.
All right. As we're winding up, on your website and your Twitter page, you have your First Thursday posts.
Yeah.
What are those? I know what they are, but for those who are not familiar,
yeah,
please enlighten me.
So I feel like I've been developing a platform over the past few years. Recently, like I'll tweet things and people, well, you know, a few folks will retweet them and I'm like, oh shit, people are listening to what I have to say. So I was like, why don't I start using this platform to share some of the amazing artists that at every show, it never fails. I'll meet someone or see an artist that I've never seen before who just blows my mind, you know?
I've had plenty of that at numerous shows that I've gone to throughout the years.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, you'll go in the diviest little bar and this person will do something that you wish 5 million people had seen. So I just want to be able to signal boost whatever little way that I can some of these artists who are doing beautiful stuff for like 5 people.
I mean, and not to blow smoke, but that's how I feel about like artists like yourself, like
thank you.
Mega Ran, my friends, the Super Guitar Bros.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's like when I look at you folks performing at like these shows and stuff, and like the massive crowds that you draw, it's just I wish. And I certainly wouldn't pigeonhole you into the nerdcore category because you're so diverse in both lyrical approach and music-wise.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
But it annoys me when bands like that do not get as much respect or playtime as like bands that you clearly see that their music was made for them by somebody else.
Right.
And I'm not necessarily trying to hate on them, but it's like, look, all right, yes, I know you appeal to a certain audience, but what about these cool musicians?
Right, if you just like traveled a little bit outside of your comfort zone, like you could hear something great.
I found out, like I mentioned, Ostinato, I found out about that band after they broke up.
Wow.
You know?
Wow,
and I was like, this band could have been, I mean, is amazing. Like, why don't more people know about this?
Right, that's like the worst feeling when it's like, dang, people didn't give them their flowers while they could still smell them, you know? And so I want to be able to do that. That's kind of one of my missions.
But that's the great thing about music. It's eternal, you know, because eventually someone would find it.
They'll pick it up.
I mean, like when I mentioned that I found out about you through Mega Ran, you know, and that was like a few months ago. And then I went through all of your tracks one by one, listened to lyrics and like beats and stuff like that. I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. And I was telling my friends about it. I asked my friend Diane if she had any questions for you.
Yeah.
Because she's really huge into feminism and she felt like that's empowering and stuff. But she unfortunately wasn't she unfortunately did not get back to me in time before I was able to track you down and finally do an interview with you. Tough luck, Diane.
Hi, Diane.
But shout out to Diane.
Hell yeah.
Clarabelle, I call her Clarabelle. You're awesome.
Aww.
So I hope you enjoy this interview.
So
this is
sweet.
partially dedicated to you and Paige.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, hi y'all. I love you.
Well, I mean, my friends I hold dear to me.
They're
Like,
important.
I mean, I don't throw out the friendship thing to everyone.
Yeah.
It's just like those who get in my inner circle, like I will cherish you for life
Forever.
unless you screw me over. But that doesn't happen.
In which case, yeah.
Then you're dead to me,
Then
son.
you're dead, yeah.
You're dead to me. Final 3 questions.
Yes.
What's new that you would like to talk about or promote?
Cool, let me see. So we talked about the podcast. I'm working on my next album.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Is it going to continue down the same path of Pieces in Space?
It's a little bit different. I think I'm getting a little bit more chill. So, I mean, I'm still kind of lyrically tackling things in the same way where, you know, I got my references, I got the stuff that I feel like is interesting, but it's even like BPM wise, I feel like it's like just it's like more of like a groove.
Okay.
Like the headspace that I'm in. I think when I made Pieces in Space, I was like fired up, you know, like just even the way I was recording. But now I'm like, okay, I'm in my shit now. Like, I can do this. You know, I can flex a little bit. So yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. And chipping away at this dissertation, boo. So that's it.
Things that get things from real life getting in the way of your passions.
I know, and getting in the way of me watching these B movies.
But I would hope that you would take the time to check these out.
Self-care.
At least my recommendation,
Yes,
take
yes.
it for what it's worth. where can people find you online if they wanted to check out more of your stuff?
Everywhere at Samus Music. It's S-A-M with an extra M, U-S, music. .com. My Twitter handle is Samus Music. My Facebook is Samus Music. Everywhere you look, it's Samus Music. So check me out, and I'm so happy to have had this opportunity. MAGFest is so powerful. I feel home, and thank you for taking the time to chat with me.
No, thank you for granting this interview. I was really having my fingers crossed and looking forward to it. And like she mentioned, 2 M's because, like you mentioned, Nintendo likes
Nintendo
to sue.
does not play about their IP.
That first N in Nintendo stands for no, you don't.
Exactly. No, Nintendo don't.
Final question, Samus. What would you like to say to your fans throughout the years?
I would like to say that I love you, I appreciate you, and take care of your mental health. Like, you don't have to wait for anybody or anything to give you that push. You deserve to live as your best self, and you deserve to not be fractured across multiple universes. You can be a unified self, and anyone who doesn't respect that, anyone who doesn't respect where you're coming from in any of the spaces that you exist in, doesn't deserve to be your friend, doesn't deserve to have your time. So yeah, just take care of yourself. It was the best decision that I ever made, was going to therapy and getting help. So I encourage you to do the same.
Well, Enongo, thank you so much for this interview.
Thank you.
Well, folks, this is Joe from My Geek Scene with Samus at MAGFest. Take it easy.
Bye.